because, well, sheep don't produce very much milk, and they kind of smell. Pigs really do smell. Cows take a whole lot of pasture, and that leaves goats as being able to tolerate a little bit of land and produce pretty much as much milk as a family would need, considering that you need a minimum of 2 goats since they are social creatures. We're thinking we'll probably have 2, maybe 3, 1 for wool, because they do have wool goats out there. But we'll definitely have 2 for milk, and of course that means occasionally we'll have meat from them, but their primary benefit is milk. We're also going to grow chickens, which is something you can do. Actually, unless your city has zoning laws otherwise, the county zoning laws say you can have up to 8 chickens on your property. Really? So you check your city. If the city says we adopt county laws, then they just allowed you to grow chickens. Yes?
Cannot have poultry within 100 feet of an occupied building in the city of Los Angeles.
Really? But that's in the city of Los Angeles. I'm talking county of Los Angeles. County of Los Angeles allows 8 per plot of land, and each chicken produces 1 to 2 eggs per day, about 6 per week. About 6 to 8 per week, and that is more than enough eggs. You will have a super abundance of eggs if you have the county maximum. You'll probably wind up giving them away, selling them. It's a great way that's the reason people grew chickens. It wasn't for the meat, although that is a fringe benefit. A lot of meat on a farm is actually fringe benefit because you get the goats for the milk and you get the chickens for the eggs. Now, the other thing we already have our beehive. That is the easiest thing to get, and there are very, very few zoning laws against beehives, although you really only need about 1 per block to get all the flowers. Now, I know you've heard about the bee blights. Now, this is something you don't have to worry as much about. Yes, they are hitting family farm beehives, but not as badly as the commercial beehives. That's because of the way they raise commercial bees. Now, we all know about commercial chickens stacked 20 high and how if you go to the whole weedery, the chicken tastes better. Well, bees also are subject to industrial farming. What they do for an industrial farm is they feed them only 1 type of pollen at a time, only 1 type of nectar at a time, feed them corn syrup, and they're transporting from one field to the other based upon the crop rotation. For 1 month they'll get almonds, for another month they'll get pecans. That's not healthy for a bee. They need a variety. If you have a backyard beehive, he has every single flower within 3 blocks that she can feed off of, producing a variety of nectar, a variety of pollen, which is actually very healthy for the bees. I made a small innovation in beekeeping quite accidentally. Since I have a toddler, I did not want the toddler playing with the bees. So I went to Lowe's Home and Garden, and I got a dog kennel cage. It's about 6 feet high, 6 feet wide, 12 feet deep. And I put the beehive in the middle of that. The bees don't even know this chain link fence is there. They don't. The roses that we planted around it are thrilled to have the fence to climb up because they're vine roses. The bees fly right through it, and the kid can't get to it. Other beekeepers thought this kid can't get to it cage was a brilliant idea. So I've already shared that on the forums. Now, another thing to have is an orchard, which is what we're having in our outer backyard. We're going to grow many different kinds of fruit trees. Unfortunately, up in the Antelope Valley, we can't grow citrus like you can. We are just a little too cold up there, so we're going to have all the hard stones. Peaches, plums, cherries, and pecans are a hard stone. They're actually a peach relative, that the leathery fruit that you don't eat, and you eat the seed instead. So we're going to have a variety of fruit trees up there as well. Now here's what I was asked before this speech began about water. Yes, farming takes a lot of water. Our 1 plot almost doubled our water bill. Next year we're going to have 4 active plots plus an active berry patch, which is why I'm drilling a well. Now, if you go to the professionals, they will charge you anywhere between 14 to 20 grand for a well, depending on how deep they have to go. That includes $1,000 for a permit to the county. However, I found a website, how to drill a well in your own backyard, and you can get a kit, a full kit minus the air compressor, minus the pipes, for $500. And with that kit, all you need to do is rent an air compressor, buy the pipes, and you have a well. You also need to buy the pump. But at any rate, that would come in at less than $2,000. Now, of course, I would not ever tell anyone to refuse to give the county their fair share of your hard work with that $1,000 permit. But as it is, I'm coming in at under $2,000 for my well. And that will significantly reduce the water cost of drilling a well. Now, I'm not going to be self-sufficient on this, of course. Like I said, it's to extend the family budget, extend our food supply. With the bees, we have sugar. With next year, with the chickens, we'll have eggs. Year after that, we'll have the milk with the goats. We'll have all our garden plots going next year. So we'll really extend. Best thing to do, we even have a small patch set aside for an herb garden. You wouldn't believe how well dill grows up in the Antelope Valley. Very well. It's the bushiest plant we have. We forgot to trim it back in time, and now it's seeding like mad. So we're going to have an abundance of seeds as well. We can probably start making pickles soon. But yes, with a farm, it is a lot of work. I'll give you that. It is a lot of work. But it's not that bad. I'm fortunate that I can... My pay is sufficient that my wife does not have to work, and she loves gardening. So we have that going right there. She does. I'm not forcing her to work the field. She does it on her own. She loves going out into the garden to weed and to trim the roses and etc. Now, the biggest problem with an orchard is birds and squirrels. Birds and squirrels will eat all your produce. Now, a beehive is going to triple our produce, meaning the birds and squirrels are going to eat 3 times as much. So, we are working on trying to get the soil sufficiently acidic so that we can grow a very special type of mint in our orchard. It's called catnip. Catnip.
Oh, catnip.
Catnip is a mint. I'm thinking we might try a natural pest control in our orchard. If we have a huge field of catnip underneath all the trees, we stand a chance on having a huge field of cats under our trees. Yes. Probably there will be some that are feral. There will be some that are simply the neighbor's cats wandered over because it smells so nice. That's what they're there for. And the birds. And the birds. Natural pest control. It's a great way to do it.
Wait, question.
Yes.
If they're not feral cats, okay, and they're somebody's cats, why would they want to go after a squirrel if they got their own food at home?
Actually, that's because cats are genetically programmed to be hunters. Dogs will chase for the fun of it. Cats consider actually hunting to be fun. A domestic cat, if it's allowed to go outside, will catch a bird or a mouse or whatever. We've had cats that would leave us presents on our front porch. Dead mouse on the front porch to show how much they appreciated us. Had other cats, even though they were very well fed indoors, caught birds all the time. We knew whenever one of our cats caught a bird because he would leave the beak and the feet behind. The only part it did not like to eat. See, domestic cats are still hunters. That's why cats are called familiar, while dogs are called domesticated. Cats are still a little bit more wild. Cats will hunt. It's their nature. So, yes, the reason I'm doing all this, like I said, is for self-sufficiency. I figured when I first saw the way the economy was going to go, that I would figure out a way for everyone to partake in this. And it is possible for you to do this even in the city. Not as well, but it is possible. Smaller backyards can grow smaller crops. If you can't grow chickens, you can probably get away with a rabbit hutch. That's probably the least productive small animal you can get. Well, rabbits only give you fur and meat, which is why they're the least productive option. or you can have a beehive. If you're actually in an apartment building, a high-rise, more than one floor, the best you can get is a window box garden unless the owner of the building allows rooftop farming. But I wanted to try to help everyone who could try to find a way